I'm 32 years old, recently married. We're starting to talk about having a family soon, but I also want to get into a completely different career, and it's a little bit scary. I can't be the only one who's thinking about a career change. It feels scary because you can get so comfortable in the job that you're in, but I just feel like I know it's time for a change, and I want to tell you why and what my reasons are, and hopefully they resonate with you. And if you're thinking about going through a career change, maybe this video will help you a little bit. My name's Karina if you're new to my channel. I currently work in healthcare as an ultrasound technologist, and I've been doing that for about 5 years. But for the past 6 months to a year, I've just felt this need to kind of move on and change my career entirely. And it's kind of scary because I'm really comfortable and I'm really grateful for my job right now. There's so many positive things about it, so I don't want this video to be overly negative, but that still doesn't mean that it's the right fit for me. I can't be the only one who's going through this feeling of just needing a change or wanting to change careers after you've been in a certain industry for 5-10 years. And so I wrote down all the things that I'm kind of feeling and thinking right now. This list of reasons is how I know that it's really time to move on. And so if you're going through the same thing at all, I really hope that this is helpful for you. And definitely comment below if you feel like you want to change your career or if you have already. So one major thing that I think is kind of indicative of me wanting to get out of this career is I've been really quite apathetic to change in the last year to 2 years. When I first got this job, I wanted to learn different skills, new skills, and kind of like learn how I can specialize in my role. And now I've just been feeling like, I feel like I'm a little bit more complacent. I don't really feel the desire to like learn a new specialization because I'm feeling a pull towards something completely different. When I first started ultrasound, I learned a few new specialties, and I'm so glad that I did because otherwise my job would be boring and I wouldn't have as much variety as I do now. But I've come to the point where I kind of have been resistant to learning even more specialties, especially because there's really no incentive as far as compensation goes. And so that's my first reason, just the desire to learn and grow within this field is no longer present. Another reason for me has to do with thinking about my future. When I think about the future in this industry specifically, and I picture myself doing this role in another 5 or 10 years, or especially if I think about myself doing this until retirement age, it just gives me this feeling, a very unsettling feeling. I know most people in this field are extremely happy with the job, but for me personally, I think I just need a little bit more change. And so staying in this role where there isn't a lot of room to kind of branch out or grow, it doesn't feel right for me. And so when I'm looking into the future and I'm not picturing myself doing this, it's obviously a good way to know that I'm not really in the right field. I also just want to mention that sometimes like things are right for you in certain periods of your life. Like this career for me has been right for me for the last 4 or 5 years, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it always will be right for me. Something else that I really feel is that the talents that I want to exercise every day aren't really being utilized in this career. I am a super creative person. I love to create. That's why I like to create content and think about in different ways I can do things. The role that I'm in right now doesn't really offer a lot of opportunity for exercising creativity. And so that's really important for me. I kind of do the same thing every day and I'm good at it. And there's certain things that I love about it. But not being able to be creative all the time is something that just kind of wears on me, especially over time, and I kind of grow, less interested, and you get the point. So when I'm thinking about the talents that I have that I want to actually use every day and it doesn't fit in the job that I'm doing right now, it's obviously another good indicator that I'm probably not in the right spot. The next thing that I can kind of talk to you about is how I spend I spend a lot of my time kind of daydreaming about other people's careers. I spend a lot of time reading and watching videos of people who I admire, who are in the career that is the right fit for them. And you can just tell, like you can read it on their body language. You can tell how they speak about their career, that they're happy with their job and they're really happy with what they chose. And I don't have that. And so I will spend time kind of daydreaming about when I do have that. And obviously that's another sign that's kind of telling me it's time to move on. Something else that I've noticed myself thinking is that I really feel quite envious of people who aren't in healthcare right now. There are obviously pros and cons of certain industries or different industries. The pandemic's played a big role in why I want to get out of healthcare. I think that's pretty obvious. I think a lot of people want to get out of healthcare, but that's not to say healthcare isn't a good industry to be in. It just doesn't feel right for me anymore. And I noticed myself being envious of people who have a little bit more autonomy with their job. They have a little bit more flexibility and freedom. Working from home or working from different locations is something that I'm really drawn to, and I'm envious of other people who have that, where they can work from home, maybe go into the office 1 or 2 times a week. They have more flexibility with the time and how they spend their time during the day and during the week. So I really want to transition out of healthcare into a job where I don't need to show up every day and be in front of people all day long. If I call in sick or if I have an appointment or anything like that, then my entire day gets canceled, which impacts all of the patients in my room that day. And so you get the point. You have to go in, you have to show up, and you have to be present there at that location, or your job doesn't exist. Another thing I've been feeling, and this is something that I've unfortunately always felt, and this is a big one for me, is that I don't feel super proud to call myself an ultrasound tech, or when you're at a party or you're meeting new people and they ask you what you do. When I tell people I'm an ultrasound tech, it doesn't evoke any emotion of pride, and that's definitely something that I'm searching for. I want to feel proud about my job and excited about my job, but I don't feel that way. Of course, that feeling is personal to me. Working in ultrasound is honestly an amazing job, and I still have patients asking me all the time, how did you get into the program? Do you like your job? Like, I'm thinking about things for my daughter to do. And I still always tell them, like, yes, it's a great career, because I don't want to keep saying like it's easy, but once you get the hang of it, it takes a long time to kind of get really good at it. But once you do, you kind of can coast. And so it's easy, the hours are good. I'm so grateful for my career. But I've never felt so proud to tell people I'm an ultrasound tech, which definitely means it's time for a change, to transition into something that I can work towards and build up, and just be proud to tell people what I do. So my channel recently, in the past couple of years, have been focused on makeup, but I am transitioning into way more career-related topics. I want to do videos on career change, the difficulties that go along with that, the positives that go along with that. I do have a career in mind that I want to transition into, and I really want you guys to be a part of my journey. I'm going to vlog my career change journey, because I know that there are other people out there, especially women, young women, you're thinking about starting a family. All of those things play into kind of maybe why you wouldn't change careers, but I'm gonna do it, and I want you guys to be along there with me. Subscribe to my channel if that sounds interesting to you. My next videos will be talking about how I decided the next career I want to go into, how I know something will or won't be the right fit for me, just timelines, and how I plan to transition into something entirely different. Thanks so much for watching my video. I will see you guys in my next one.